Hello, my name is Cal,
Hi, my name's Miz.
and we are the yoga people at BJJ Week.
What a great intro.
Yeah,
We are the yoga people.
we should get t-shirts.
The yoga people.
The yoga people.
Okay.
I like it. They'll be on sale later. No, they won't. Don't cry. Yeah, so we're going to talk a bit today, aren't we? We're going to give you some information.
Or a lot.
A little bit of understanding about how yoga can be beneficial for your BJJ practice.
Yeah.
And for athletes in general. It really, really is something that is so powerful to work with when you do it effectively. But first, I think, Miz, can you get a little background on you? Let's get a little background on you.
A little background on me. My background is in dance and martial arts, and I started doing yoga 20 odd years ago after a spinal injury. So a lot of my teaching revolves around physiology, anatomy, injury prevention, and support, rehabilitation, things like that. So I have a good understanding of the different things that you need to do when you've had sort of spine injuries, neck injuries, knee surgery, whatever. So even though my classes might end up being a little woo-woo and floaty, there's a lot of functional stuff in there.
I think that's really important to know, isn't it? That like behind the madness, there is definitely some element of truth, isn't that?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And
but you're the same though. You've got a really functional sports background as well.
Completely, yeah. I mean, I used to practice BJJ as a kid, growing up. I took some time out especially when I was dancing myself. So took some time out because you can't have an injured dancer, can you? You'd be out of work.
Yeah.
So I dip my toe in when I can now. But the one thing I really do notice is having good hips. If you don't do it for any other reason than having good hips, like that really helps. Being flexible, mobility, it's so important.
Yeah, exactly.
But again, similar to you, I work very like therapeutically with my classes and my one-to-ones when I take clients on and things like. I went on qualified as an exercise like referral specialist, so I work with healthcare practitioners to get people back to full health. Injury prevention is the big one. I did specialize in cardiology and pulmonary for a little while, so heart and lung patients. But yeah, it's all about using yoga for its core reason,
Yeah, and this is really what we were wondering about communicating to everyone, because sometimes yoga can be seen as this like I said, woo-woo, floofy thing. It's like, oh, yoga, it's like some strange spiritual esoteric practice that's just out there and no one really knows what it is. There are different lineages to yoga, but essentially before it became anything to do with religion, it was a household practice. It's thousands of years old household practice, which was basically to guide people within northern India, Pakistan region into things like community values, looking after themselves, caring for their bodies in terms of maybe some movement and exercise. There wasn't really a huge focus on that. Breathing properly, so you're oxygenating your body. These people were they're working the land and farming, so they needed to function. And being able to focus, being able to find a sense of focus, and thinking about a lot of stuff that we do in modern day, and a lot of stuff that comes into being a professional athlete. You need to be focused. You need to be oxygenating your blood by breathing properly. You need to be mobile and flexible and have balance and have good proprioception. You need to be able to find a kind of, particularly in BJJ, a kind of meditative state to what you're doing. And really, this is what yoga is a household practice, and has been before the offshoots appeared, where you ended up with crazy multi-armed goddesses and all of that kind of stuff got involved. Really, in its essence.
But I think that's a really interesting point of like what is yoga? If you had to like define it, because people say yoga means unity, yoga means this, and there's so many people with different ideas on what yoga means. But I think it is literally the first sutra. So the Yoga Sutras are like a list of texts, and they're not so much. They meant to, what would you say they describe
They're
what yoga is meant to be?
verses.
Yeah.
They're like verses. So in the same way in different martial arts or different regions of the world, there'll be certain texts that these philosophies lean into, like Sun Tzu and the Art of War, or Bruce Lee's Tao of Jeet Kune Do. I think there've been things written on Budo and stuff as well.
Absolutely.
There are texts around yoga practice, and the sutras are just a series of verses that are basically guiding. I think there's 195 of them, like one-liners. Yeah. Not comedy one-liners.
It's a bit of a dry
just
read.
little
I don't recommend that by the pool.
It's not something to go to if you want to laugh, but they are one-liners. Just little, like, I guess kind of mottos.
Yeah.
They're like mottos or mantras or something,
that can help sort of describe what you can get from a yoga practice. And the one I find really interesting is, I think it is literally the first one, so it shows how far into it I've been reading. No, I'm joking, I have read it, I promise. It's Yoga's Chitta Vritti Nirodha.
No, that's chapter 2.
Don't tell me that, is it actually? Is that chapter 2?
That's chapter 2.
Okay, well, it's quite close to the start. It's not chapter 8 or whatever. And it's basically, yoga is the stilling of the mind. It's the bringing the mind to a point of one focus, one thing. It's that mindfulness practice, which I think in that line, that's the one that makes most sense to me. And I go, that tells me what it is. Yeah. The rest of it, I think, can be seen as a bit floofy and a bit, you've really got to. It's the same with any kind of ancient text, though, isn't it? You've got to really get into the mindset of them. In order to understand what they mean and relate them to real life, because these texts were written years ago.
Oh God, yeah.
And
I mean, The Art of War. If you've ever read The Art of War, it's like, have you actually read it?
I've literally got it on my. I think it's in storage, but
it's so hard to read. But that's the basis of a lot of martial arts practices, because it's about how to understand and defeat your enemy. So yeah, you've got to really find good translations. I'm really distracted now because I'm wondering whether it actually was chapter 2.
Write in and let us know.
I know, readers, get back to us. Viewers. But this is the point that we're trying to make, is that yoga isn't this. It can be floofy spiritual meditation, if that's all what you about enlightenment and gods and goddesses and storytelling and all of this woo-woo stuff. But in its essence, and the systematization of yoga that came out of the sutras, these 8 steps, are pretty similar to things that a professional athlete would need.
Absolutely, because that's a brilliant one, actually. The 8 limbs of yoga, fundamental to a yoga practice. You've got to understand the 8 limbs, right? So it comes from, we've got the yamas and niyamas, so it's like the actions and the observances. Yeah. They're just kind of, if you think about how you might.
It's like personal conduct and then community conduct. And this is what I really observe when we're in the BJJ community. It's like people understand how to conduct themselves, but also respect the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And you at the beginning, you do your slap and tap, don't you? And you go. Like it's like a way, code of conduct. You're absolutely right. There's etiquette. There's etiquette to it. And it really sets the foundations for a healthy space with healthy people to do a healthy sport, you know what I mean?
And people forget that that's an integral part of a fully rounded yoga practice, because unlike BJJ, yoga's just become this sort of hip and trendy thing that people with expensive clothes do in fancy studios. So all of this, well, not totally. There's some places that hold good community, but it's really become a capitalist venture.
Absolutely, and it ignores 7 out of the 8 limbs of yoga. So we've got those 2 first, and then we move into, see if we can remember the order, shall we? Pranayama next, usually as like energy expansion, so usually it's breath work. So learning to breathe is fundamental, and like you were saying earlier about oxygenating the blood and things like that. And this is it, like we say yoga, it sounds woo-woo, sounds this, we talk about energy, we talk about this. Well, what we talk about is we give them like lovely poetic names, but actually science says if you have oxygen in the blood and you move
It's
that
physiology.
blood,
it's basic physiology.
what we call energy, you call oxygen distribution.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it really
Yeah.
can just be that
Yeah.
simple. I think there's always method behind the madness.
Yeah. A lot of it's basic physiology. I mean, as sportsmen, athletes, sportswomen, know that you can't function properly if your body isn't open, if you're not strong, and if you don't have oxygen in your blood, or good nutrition. And these are all things that in yoga terms are described as prana or energy. There's different forms of energy, you know, what you do with yourself, how you feed your body, how you breathe. So yeah, what have we got? Yamas, niyamas, personal and community.
Yeah.
Pranayama.
Pranayama. I got a question off of that, actually.
Okay.
And it's all physiology. What's your opinion on the... I'm going to
Here we
open
go.
a can of worms now. Detoxifying twists?
No,
No?
nonsense.
Nonsense.
Well, not nonsense, but
I think, like, so there's a thing that people, yoga teachers have started saying in the West.
this could be a whole other podcast.
This could be a whole other podcast, so we'll nip this in the bud quickly. My personal opinion is it's not detoxifying to do a twist. Any sort of skeletal movement moves your lymphatic fluid around and helps to aid detoxification.
Yeah.
Twisting is a nice way of doing that. So I think there are detoxifying in the sense of it moves a bit of fluid around.
Yeah.
But no more than a sit-up. You know what I
For
mean?
those of you that are slightly unaware of what we're talking about right now, there is a whole bunch of yoga myths out there where people have taken a small subject and kind of gone off on one with it. And there are classes that are around detoxify your body. Your body is naturally structured to detoxify itself anyway. If you have a liver, your body is detoxifying itself. If you have kidneys, even just one of them, your body is going to be detoxifying itself. But there are entire classes where it focuses on twisting your body, because somehow there's this yoga myth that's appeared that if you twist your body, you're detoxing it. Like, your body is not a sponge that you can just squeeze all of the shit out of. It's going to come out... Sorry, I swore.
I knew one of us would. I knew it.
Your body is cleansing itself anyway, just because you exist.
Absolutely.
So there are lots of weird little myths around yoga like that, which brings me to this idea that in order to do yoga, you have to be flexible. No.
Nonsense. How do you get flexible?
We were going to bring a prop to explain this. There was a suggestion that we should have a live chicken in a basket of eggs, because which came first, chicken or the egg? Do you have to be flexible to do yoga? You don't have to be flexible to do yoga. That's the whole purpose of yoga, is that we become flexible, not just in the physical body, but in the mind as well.
Absolutely,
you know?
yeah.
So that's another yoga myth, that you have to be flexible.
And that brings us nicely into the fourth limb, which is
Asana.
Posture. So
Postures.
actually doing the yoga postures and the poses, that is only 1 out of the 8 limbs of yoga. So that is like 1/8 of the work. And I don't know about you, I tell all my students, I'm like, guys, 95% of yoga happens off the mat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it really is more
I
about...
don't say that, that's cheesy.
I'm cheesy. And I'm okay with it.
But it does.
It's true. But it is true. And 95% of yoga literally does happen off the mat, because people literally go to the mat, chill out, they feel so good. And then the second they leave the studio, their butthole tightens again and they're all back to square one. You know what I mean? Relax. It's fine. Chill.
Yeah.
The only way to do yoga wrong is to stress about it.
Was that Joey's phrase?
That was my phrase.
Well,
Don't you dare credit him with that.
Joey's, okay.
He stole it.
The only way to do yoga wrong is to stress about it. But this is the thing. You're kind of... with these 8 steps, you don't necessarily have to start at the beginning of this 8-step path. And what we find when we're working with people in classes or on a one-to-one level, or sports people, is that the physical thing is the first doorway into doing the rest. So even though you might not be able to do a downward dog, it's bringing all of those other steps and these other aspects of yoga into that pose and using the pose, whichever pose it is that you're doing, as a tool or a gateway to be able to practice other things. So within that pose, you're focusing, you're being aware of your proprioception, you've got muscle use, you've got breath, you've got stability, you've got an awareness of your heart rate and how deeply you're breathing in order to be strong and still in that pose. And this is the practice, isn't it? This is why asana has become so big, or the postural practice has become so big. Because people, particularly in modern days, people are just stuck behind desks. So a lot of the time, yoga is seen as this thing to open out bodies.
Yeah.
You know, people are sat all day. They need to stand up straight and stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. And just open up the chest, bring the shoulders back.
But there isn't a prerequisite for you having to be flexible to do it. No. The flexibility is the goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And strength.
And strength, of course, yeah. Because stability, isn't it? You've got to be...
So people who do yoga that are overly flexible aren't necessarily good at yoga because they're naturally leaning into hypermobility, which is not a good thing.
No, it's not. Absolutely not. And it's like I don't know, I think the people who come and throw themselves into shapes, they don't pay attention to the transitions. And it's not about the shapes, you know what I mean? It's more about how you feel moving from one. I think you can really see an experienced asana practitioner by the way they move from piece to piece, from pose to pose, rather than the pose itself. Which is why I like Instagram. I see people in all these crazy shapes on Instagram, and I'm thinking, yeah, but who helped you get into that position? Took a step back, took a picture. I don't for a second think you didn't fall out of it. You know, I'm not impressed by that one image. It's not about that. If you really want to show your strength and your mobility and your flexibility and all that sort of stuff, it's all got to become part of this moving thing. Yeah. This like
a full essence of control.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thinking about the next move.
Yeah, yeah.
Where you're going to go, how you're going to get there, which again are different points that would come into a BJJ practice, I guess.
Absolutely.
In a way. I'm trying to loop it back.
Hey, it all comes full circle. It all comes full circle. I think you're absolutely right, though. I think that that is a good mental skill. So it's not literally just having good hips, like I said, or having bendy legs, or, you know, being able to get in and out of different things. It's also the mental game that it can help improve your sport.
Which leads us nicely onto the next step of the 8 limbs, which is... trying
to remember the Sanskrit name now.
Pratyahara.
Yes, Pratyahara.
Which is all about when you're starting to go inwards and look at things like your nervous system control.
Yes.
Which is, having spoken to some athletes that we've worked with and BJJ people that we've worked with, this is actually a really big one. When you're bundling yourself up into your own BJJ poses, which I like don't know the name for.
We should call them that.
You need to be able to focus, you need to be able to concentrate, you need to have a nervous system that's under control, because if you start to panic, you are going to tap out, and we don't want that. So this is where your yoga practice, whether you're doing a stressful asana, whether you're doing a fiery breathing technique, whether you're lying down at the end of the class and trying to find calm, it's all about teaching you flexibility in your nervous system so you can function under pressure. And this is what happens when you're practicing BJJ, is that you need to be able to function under pressure. You could be insanely flexible. You could have all of the moves, like that amazing one with the ankle that does the funny thing.
Oh, yeah.
That one. That one. But if your head goes because you're under pressure and your heart rate's going too much, tap out time. So this is why yoga practice is really important for a lot of people and a lot of athletes, is because it allows you some space in your nervous system to be able to face these challenges that you're really under as a professional athlete.
Did you know 4 breaths, slow down breaths, Samavritti, is enough to slow your heart rate?
Yeah.
You will get a physical effect. If you put
Yeah.
a heart rate monitor on, next time you have a heart rate monitor on, have a try that. Literally just breathe in for a slow count of 4, out for a slow count of 6, 4 times, and watch that heart rate go down.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's
Yeah.
because it's stimulation to the sinoatrial
People
node.
really underestimate how important breathing is. It hugely affects your, not only the levels of oxygen in your body, but your functioning through other chemicals in your body. And yeah, your heart rate and your nervous system.
Absolutely.
You can use breath work to heighten your breath, to sort of make certain chemicals shift in your body so you become a little more stimulated. You can use the breath to calm down. So it kind
You've
of...
got warming breaths, cooling breaths,
Yeah.
there's so many different...
all of which is going to be useful as a sports person.
Absolutely.
And then the next 3 steps on this 8-step path are potentially irrelevant, because that's when they do get a little bit more into meditation and stuff.
Yeah.
So if you want to dive into meditation, you can do that.
Absolutely.
But I think the first 5 are the most relevant ones, aren't they?
For BJJ, I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that the first 5, are definitely key. I think meditation, though, I'm going to stand up for meditation right now.
Okay.
I think meditation is probably one as well. I really do think that people who meditate are able to make better decisions under pressure.
Okay.
And I don't know, what do you think?
I don't meditate.
Do you not meditate?
Well, I don't know. I guess it depends what your definition of meditation
No,
is.
that's a very valid point.
Because you can't really sit and suddenly empty your mind. I meditate when I walk.
Yeah, active
Meditation's
meditation's a
just
thing.
the opportunity to sort of focus on a thing. And you
Yeah.
don't have to focus on having an empty mind.
No.
So
People say I can't meditate because my mind is always thinking of things. I'm like, yes, so you see the thought, thank the thought, let it go, and every time you catch yourself, that's you meditating well. It's not about I caught myself 10 times, so I did a terrible meditation. No, you caught yourself 10 times. The issue is when your mind starts racing and you don't realize it. So
meditation could be like dancing. If you lose yourself in dancing, if you walk around your city in the evening with a podcast on, that could be your meditation, walking meditation. All meditation really is focusing on a point. And it doesn't have to be a visual point of sitting focusing on the end of your nose. This is what my philosophy teacher always told us. Meditation could be many different things.
I've got a spot in the pub that I love by my house, and it's by the river.
In the pub?
Honestly, it's by the river outside. The river goes out, and it's so calm, it's so relaxing. I just sit there with a glass of wine, and that is my meditation sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it can look any way you want it to. It doesn't have to. We don't all have to move to the mountains and give up food and
exactly.
It can be accessible for everyone. It doesn't have to be.
And it always has been. I feel like sometimes people when you come out with this phrase in class, yoga's for everybody.
Yeah.
Again, it's become another sort of cheesy catchphrase.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes people look at me like I'm just saying that to them to be nice because they weren't very good in their class. But it genuinely is for everybody, and it always has been. There was a lineage of yogis that were the heretics and the religious people who went off to live in the mountains.
Yeah.
But it's really not always been that way. Those were the ones who sort of ended up turning it into a religion or whatever. But, yoga was just a normal everyday life thing for a certain culture in what's basically now Pakistan. And it was a cultural thing, nothing to do with religion.
Yeah.
And I think this is what we really need to be rejuvenating these days and bringing it back from this idea that you've either got to be hugely religious, hugely flexible, or rich
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
I think we need to normalize yoga practice for everybody again.
Absolutely. And stop making it this thing that another thing that you're trying to obtain. It's is it an Indian comedian? She's very funny. I can't remember who it was, and she said that the white people, you've turned yoga into a blood sport. We have to, you're rushing in your Lululemons to get to class, and if you rush into class, you've already missed the point.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not another thing to master and thing.
Yeah.
Wherever you are, if you
It's
just...
a lifestyle thing, isn't it, really?
Absolutely.
It's about your conduct as a human being.
Yeah, completely. Going back to those yamas and niyamas.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd like to think that really in the coming years anyone can get involved in yoga. Whether you're a housewife or
Completely.
a teenager or an amazing sports person,
Yeah, absolutely.
an amazing athlete.
It's really for everyone.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Are those Jerry's final thoughts?
Yoga's for everyone.
Yoga is for everyone.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Also, should we do a podcast around myth busting in yoga?
We could do. I think we've pulled out various different subjects that we can talk about some more.
Stay tuned.
So if you want to see us again, let us know. We can come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if you want to get involved in the yoga sessions this year or next year or whatever, please do. I mean, it's, as you can see by Callum having his meditation spot in the local pub, you don't... It's for normal people.
Yeah.
You don't have to be some superior spiritual goddess. Although I do like to think of myself that way sometimes.
I think of you that way.
Thanks.
It's all right. Just being kind. But yeah, I think that's us over.
Is that a wrap for
That's a
now
wrap.
before we confuse people even more?
Yeah, let's leave them with that.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, folks.